Hello and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat. Now, today we're going to be talking about Manchester City versus Chelsea, previewing the big game for this weekend. Usually we talk about what happened last weekend, but it was an FA Cup weekend that didn't provide many shocks, and inherently we will be speaking today about that Arsenal City game. Shall we start with that, the most recent result for Manchester City? It wasn't a fantastic performance, but they got over the line in the end.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. Not exactly, but they knew it was going to be a tough game. They know Arsenal are a very, very good side, and they've had problems against them before. They worked hard, they dug deep at times, and they dragged themselves through. It's exactly what you need from that type of game. It's a cup game against a very tough team, and they managed to drag it over the line. Just about. Kiara Keating takes all the plaudits for that.
Yeah.
Without her, they'd have lost that game.
Yeah, she made some huge saves towards the end. I do think I still have some concerns over both Man City and Arsenal's ability to penetrate a defence, because City have proven, against teams that aren't very strong, yes, they can score 50 goals. Khadija Shaw could just, score 10 in a game. But against Chelsea this season, they got one, and while they flirted with another, they ended up drawing that game 1-1, despite for large portion of the first half being the better side. In the Arsenal game earlier this season, they were somewhat unfortunate not to come away with anything from that game, but they lost that match. And then obviously they had the Brighton game as well, which was a fluke on their record. But they've not been very good at breaking down some of the top sides this season, and it does leave them in a bit of a weird position going into Chelsea this weekend, because the other game, when they put Chelsea earlier in the season, I actually don't think Chelsea were very good in that match, and yet City still managed to hand them the victory. They got 2 red cards, the draw, and then Gura Wrighton with that late equaliser. But Chelsea should never had a chance to get back into that game. City had to put that game to bed earlier, and they didn't. And I think that could be the same sort of problem that arises here. And if Chelsea play like they should, rather than like they did in that game, it's going to be very difficult for City to keep them quiet.
Yeah, I think even from a Chelsea fan's point of view, I don't think Chelsea have been there. But from what we've seen from Chelsea over the last few years, I don't think it's been as good as Chelsea can be on a football pitch. Obviously, you could say it's no Millie Bright, no Sam Kerr now. It's one of those. I don't think Chelsea have brought their A-star game to a single game this year. And City, if they bring their best game, can put off as Arsenal proved. Yeah. Chelsea put in a blimey E in that Arsenal game, but Arsenal proved if you turn up against Chelsea with an A-star performance, you will beat them. And that is what Man City have to do, because a B won't do. Against Chelsea, and for playing for the WSL title...
Really going for this analogy, aren't you?
A mediocre or a decent performance will not do. You have to be exceptional. You have to be absolutely exceptional, not put a foot wrong, be clinical, do everything right. You cannot afford to do that. You can't afford to not do that.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one to get right for City.
Yeah, let's look at the season so far then. So current table obviously has Chelsea 3 points clear at the top of the WSL. City in second though, 3 points ahead of Arsenal. So City, they've opened up a bit of daylight now thanks to Arsenal's very strange defeat to West Ham the weekend before last. But they are still 3 points behind Chelsea. This is really the decisive game, I think, for this WSL season. If City are to win, they will close up to Chelsea. They'll go level on points, and the season is very much wide and open. If it's a draw, then City keep that 3-point gap. They remain within arm's length. But if Chelsea are flawed throughout the season, obviously they then cannot catch them. Even if they were to draw, they wouldn't be able to catch them. So I do think that this weekend will be crucial. Of course, if Chelsea are to win, they have a 6-point gap over City, potentially even more over Arsenal if they lose to Man United on Saturday. So this could be the turning point for the season. We could either go into a second half of the season where you've got Chelsea 34, City 34, Arsenal 31, and it's an incredibly tight title race. United sat there, then a good few points off the rest, but that top three will be incredibly tight. Or we could come out of this weekend with Chelsea on 37 points, City on 31, and Arsenal on 28, and we're very much saying, well, is that the title race done?
Yeah,
because if Chelsea could drop points, it's only going to be against City and Arsenal. You'd think this season they're the only teams they've dropped points to thus far of their 4 points dropped. So if they beat City and they're 6 points clear, by that logic, even if they were to lose to Arsenal later in the season, they'd still be the champions. So I do think Chelsea are in a very good position right now. Of course, I think this weekend will be huge to just determine who is in pole position for the title race.
Yeah, as you say, this is high stakes stuff. There is a lot of pressure on this game. Both sides are coming into this in incredible form, as you'd expect, faultless form, and realistically, we all know, everyone knows, Chelsea knows, City know, everybody who watches the WSL knows if Chelsea get a 6-point lead, everyone else might as well go home because that's the title done.
Yeah.
And that is how big this game is. And the problem is, for Chelsea, it's a lot easier for them because they know that and they know everyone else knows that. So they know they've got to turn up, win this game, and they should be home and dry. For City, it's very hard knowing that if you do not win this game, your chances of winning the league are skewed a little bit. Because even if Chelsea lose, they're still level on points, and I'd still back Chelsea to win.
Yeah, City are in very good form at the moment. They've won every single match since the 26th of November. And if you want to look at just the league, that stretches back to the 19th of November. So they're in a very good run. They've been really rolling teams over quite consistently. 4-0 over Durham at the start of the year, then 5-1 over Liverpool, 2-1 over United in the Cup, 2-0 over Tottenham, 2-0 over Leicester, and then narrow 1-0 victories in both cup competitions against Tottenham and Arsenal in the last week. But overall, really strong run of form. As for Chelsea, it's been a little lower than what we expect this season. Obviously, the Arsenal loss coming at the start of December. They then had the Harken draw in the Champions League after that, but since then it's been win after win after win. They kicked off the year with a 3-1 win over West Ham. Then they had a 3-1 win against Manchester United. We were at that game. They were incredible that morning. Then Chelsea 2, Real Madrid 1 in the Champions League, followed by a 3-0 win over Brighton, 4-0 win over Paris FC, 3-0 win over Everton, 5-0 win over Sunderland. But last weekend was not perfect for Chelsea.
No, it wasn't, and I think Crystal Palace have done Chelsea a favour because when you look at the fixture, you'd think, City, as they did, had to play their full-strength side to play against Arsenal. Chelsea, I mean, they rotated a little bit.
Pretty much full strength, though, wasn't it?
And this is why I think, because Chelsea would have had the objective to go out there, be 4-0 at half-time, and then sub everyone and their nan off the pitch and bring on the bench. They didn't get to do that. Palace did City a favour by pushing Chelsea all the way. The one thing I don't think that helped was getting Maya Ramirez a goal, because if anything, that is the last thing City wanted, was her to get her first goal. And
that goal was a very good finish. Incredible stuff. So, yeah, good for her to get on the score sheet. Good for Chelsea to get that win over the line despite not playing at their best. However, looking forward to City, that level has to be risen once again. They've got to look at victories in the last few weeks and try and raise it back to that level rather than a pretty narrow victory over an opponent that shouldn't have caused any issues.
Even like the Everton game for Chelsea was too good at writing penalties.
Yeah.
You know, it's and obviously the Cuthbert goal, but still before that, 2 penalties. It's, I don't know, it's not been great for Chelsea, but I think either way we're going to be treated to a phenomenal game of football. We've got 2 of the best strikers in the world on the pitch. We've got brilliant,
and Sam Kerr's not even there. It's mental.
It's crazy. The world-class wingers, a very strong defence, but both teams defensively do have a mistake in them, and especially Chelsea this year with no Millie Bright. I mean, I think Natalie Bjorn was a big deal for Chelsea because that has shored it up a lot in there, and Hannah Hampton in net has helped out as well. So I don't know what to say. You've got obviously the 2 best teams in England right now face off against each other. They are pretty much equal in every department on the football pitch. Maybe Chelsea edge it slightly in areas, but apart from that, they're pretty equal. There's one big factor for me, which is management.
Yeah.
Obviously, that one's an obvious one. Emma Hayes could beat any manager in the world on her day.
Sounds like, when you say beat, it sounds like a fight, which I do back her.
Again, yeah, if there was a scrap, she's knocking Gareth Taylor out.
Not even 3 rounds. She just walks over, sparks him out cold. But I do agree with you there. I think there is a difference in the management. But I also agree, I don't think there's a huge disparity in the quality of the squads. Both have invested well into their teams. Both have got very balanced squads. I do think City would be in trouble if Khadija Shaw was injured, as Chelsea were when Sam Kerr was injured. So
what was that threatened?
They did then go and break the world transfer record. But I do think this is going to be a very good game of football between the 2 best sides in the WSL right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's have a look back through the head-to-head record then before we get into some predictions. There have been 17 meetings between these 2. Chelsea have won 8 of them, drawn 7 of them, and Man City with just 2 wins. However, Chelsea haven't beaten Manchester City since the 25th of September, 2022. So it's been a while.
Really?
So both their meetings in 2023, they lost to them in March 2023, and of course earlier this season they drew 1-1. So it's now been a good 24 or 18 months. Now, hang on, is my maths correct? Yes, it is. 18 months since they last beat Manchester City. That was a home victory at the first of the 2 games last season. But that's not great viewing for Chelsea, given the fact. I mean, obviously they've been very dominant over City in their history. They've only lost them twice, but still they haven't beaten them in 18 months' time.
No, and that could play a factor. That might play on Chelsea. Will it play? I don't know. Probably not. Chelsea's fine, but
yeah.
I think for City, if anything, it won't play negatively on Chelsea. It'll be a positive for City that they know they can beat Chelsea on their day. They've turned up in the last 2 meetings between them, and they've put on a big performance. And if they hadn't decided to see how many red cards they could get in one game, they might have been all right earlier this season. Again, it's games like that. We look back on that. If that's an extra 3 points to City and Chelsea an extra 2 points to City and Chelsea, that could be massive. It's. City have to.
Yes, they'd be top of the league.
Yeah, City can't afford it.
That's why it's massive. But yeah, I agree. Also, City. So City obviously Chelsea haven't beaten City since 2022. City hadn't beaten Chelsea until 2022. Yeah. So only recently they've been able to bring themselves to that level of Chelsea, and obviously only those 2 wins. At their last meeting, obviously earlier this season, it was that 1-0 draw. I don't think you can take an awful lot from that though, because Chelsea dominated. But that was all after. I guess they had periods of the game where they dominated before red cards. But the second half was all Chelsea because of that red card. And then I think the second goal, the goal, came because of that second red card. So it's difficult to take a lot from that game. What we can say, though, is that City do know how to play against Chelsea. And if they don't concede red cards, it should be fine. Equally, Chelsea have to be better on the finishing this time.
They do. I mean, before the red card, City merited their lead, and that's why they were winning the game. But as you say, Chelsea weren't great that day. City have to up, but I think both teams need to up their performance from that game.
Yeah, definitely so. So, prediction time. What are we thinking for the game this weekend? Now, of course, we are live for it, so join us on Friday night. We will still have the WSL prediction show out on Friday as well, so look out for that in a couple of days' time, where we'll be running through all the WSL fixtures. But for this one specific game, we'll do it here. What is your prediction? It'll probably change again before the WSL prediction show on Friday, but what are you thinking right here, right now?
I'm going to go the exact same as the first meeting between these 2 sides of the season. Without the red cards, I'm going 1-1. I can't split them. I really can't. I think it'll be similar, though. I think City will take the lead early on. Chelsea, probably a bit of poor defending again. It's going to be a really frustrating half from a Chelsea point of view. And then that management aspect that we talk about will come in at half-time. Emma Hayes will say something, do something, probably make some changes as well. Chelsea will get back into the game and eventually get their goal. All square 1-1. Fair
enough. I'm going to go a little bolder in my prediction. I'm going to say Manchester City 0, Chelsea 3. Very confident the Blues have got it this weekend. And while this may come back to bite me in the arse, there'll be TikTok edits with my face on them going, "Oh, we'll win 3-0," and then it'll I don't hope Chelsea lose.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah,
and then pictures of Khadija Shaw scoring goals. But I'm just confident. I think Chelsea are a very good side. Don't think that's too bold a opinion to have. I feel like there's that desire which City don't necessarily have. Chelsea are top of the league at the moment for a reason, and I think they'll be desperate to win today, knowing that if they can give themselves a large cushion, it gives them that little bit of leeway towards the end of the season where rotation will have to come in if they want to compete across all fronts. Just we're hoping to win the WSL this season. They'll also be hoping to win the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the UWCL. So they've got a lot of competitions to think about. If they can win this game against Manchester City, they put themselves in a perfect position in order to not really have to worry about the WSL when we get to those final game weeks, because they should have it wrapped up.
Yeah, definitely.
Because 6 points clear would be very difficult to break, if not insurmountable, because we've never seen anyone win the WSL with as many losses as Arsenal have already. If City were to lose, they'd also put themselves on that same number of 3 losses. So
crazy.
It'd be very difficult for either side to catch Chelsea, especially since Chelsea haven't dropped points to anyone this season apart from City and Arsenal. Anyway, that is everything for this week's video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, put your predictions in there, all that sort of stuff, and make sure to join us on Friday. We'll be live from 7 o'clock for the 7:15 kickoff. It's going to be a good one. I'm sure the atmosphere is going to be incredible at the game, and the stream, I'm hoping you guys will agree, is going to be very, very exciting. That's everything though from us today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to keep watching, there's going to be a video covering Harry's face right now, so you can click that and keep watching our content. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.